Nobody wants to be down all the time, and while there's plenty of doomer news articles out there, this one will be uplifting for you. We do our best to be inspirational on this channel and to show you that we are actually winning. If you zoom out from the rigged elections in California and look to the much more stable and prosperous countries like South America. South America, of course, was a project of the globalist and Marxist left. They ran communists throughout all of South America. This is how you get Cuba. This is how you get Brazil. This is how you get sort of the famous South American dictatorships. But something remarkable is happening. This never happened in your lifetime or mine, which is a massive right-wing shift throughout the entire continent. You can see now red being right-wing governments and blue being left-wing governments. About half and half are right-wing governments, free market, libertarian, capitalist economies in South America that would be far more aligned with the United States. And you can also see that there are going to be some amazing things happening in Cuba. I have a feeling that's going to fall quite soon. Honduras as well. Nicaragua and Venezuela have effectively become American allies. And now Peru. Peru, ladies and gentlemen, get a load of this. The winners of the recent elections in Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Honduras, and Costa Rica are all far right, meaning aligning with American-style capitalism and freedom forms of government. Extremely telling development is that they cut USAID funding. Once they got rid of the deep state capacity to rig elections in South America through intel agencies and NGOs, suddenly the right is just winning every single election that they have. They're desperately trying to hold off elections in Brazil, for instance, right now. What happened last night? She was the first lady at 19. Now she's making her fourth attempt to win Peru's presidency. If you're unfamiliar with Peru, it's right here, this beautiful little country. It's been a totalitarian left-wing dictatorship. And now Keiko Fujimori is ready to rock. She was first lady of Peru. You would think she'd be a feminist icon, and everybody in the squee lib longhouse left would be singing her praises. But of course, they're not, because of her politics. At the age of 51, the eldest daughter of Peru's late former president is making her fourth attempt at winning the presidency in a runoff election. Despite 3 consecutive defeats, she's facing leftist candidate Roberto Sanchez, who may be better positioned to win this time with a slight lead predicted by some pollsters. Fujimori insists that she offers the best alternative to restore security to Peruvians and rescue the country, which is beset by constant state of political and institutional crisis and resulted in 8 presidents over the past 10 years and exacerbated by corruption scandals and rising crime. We need order. We need to live in order, and we need order to work, she says. And she's right. This is something that's pretty exciting that happened. They're saying that she won. Of course, libs are going to try and steal it. They say that they're virtually tied, although the prediction markets are heavily predicting that Fujimori, the right-wing candidate, will be the winner. Although they're saying that she's tied. Right-wing presidential candidate Keiko Fujimori just won the Peru election. The right is rising across all of Latin America. She defeated a leftist opponent. Colombia and Brazil will go next, along with Cuba. Leftism is falling in the American hemisphere. Look at this. I mean, she's doing a celebration of election night victory. Right-wing presidential candidate has won. Conservatism and the right is surging across Latin America. A lurch towards freedom is a massive victory for America in the region. Peru was able to hand count 90% of its 27 million ballots last night. Wow, would you look at that? And California is going to take 6 more weeks to count 300,000 ballots in LA. I actually checked this morning. Exactly what they're doing. That's because fraud takes time, says Elon Musk. Peru's national election last night, 95% of their 27 million ballots counted. California's election last night, 72% of their 10 million ballots are counted. I hope California can be as advanced as Peru one of these days. California is officially the third world. Latin America is in complete schizo mode. It only has two modes. You get right-wing law and order hardliners that sick the cops on narcos, full Pinochet 2.0, right next to left-wing lunatic in Colombia literally posting Heil Hitler on X. Yeah, this happened. The Colombian president posted Heil Hitler yesterday. Okay. Yep, it's a bold strategy. Let's see if it works in Colombia. He has 50.46% of the votes, with 90% in. The far-left candidate is collapsing. They haven't counted the votes from abroad yet, where she's very strong. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Since USAID was defunded, those thousands of NGOs and contracts were canceled. Left-wing parties are losing in Central America. This is such an important job that Elon Musk did. I want to just take a quick second to talk about why this is so important. I would take a Brazil, a Uruguay, a Guyana, a Venezuela, and Colombia. I would take any country in South America over Iran any day. These countries are part of our hemisphere. These countries have as much natural resources and oil and the minerals that we would need to create a supercontinent. This is what we should be focused on. We have land bridges and water bridges, obviously, and air bridges throughout our incredibly gifted hemisphere. And because of policies that border, I think, on retardation, we've been obsessed with teeny little nations in the Middle East. And it's time to move our gaze to our own hemisphere. That's something that Marco Rubio is doing. It's why Marco Rubio is skyrocketing in the polls. And it's why Marco Rubio, who speaks fluent Spanish, and of course his ancestors are from Cuba, is an odds-on favorite for the presidency in 2028, is that he would consolidate this hemisphere. And I think that's what's going to happen. I really think that we're going to shrug our shoulders with Ukraine and just be like, Russia, just take part of it. And then China with Taiwan, just take it. You can sort of see that policy developing. I'm not going to sit here and say whether it's good or bad. I'm going to say it's reality. You can't control people 7,000 miles away militarily. That's just not conceivable. What you should do is you should balkanize your hemisphere to be able to be the most advanced hemisphere in the world. And that's how you'll fight. There's regions that fight. Now, you don't want to fight each other. That's how you get World War I and II in Europe, and how Europe, which was without question the single richest and most developed place in world history, right? There was never more consolidated power than peak Europe, right around the 1800s. There's never more consolidated or projected power or wealth in the history of humanity. But they couldn't all work together in order to keep that system going, so they collapsed inward. It's so much better for us to have allies in our own region and hemisphere geographically than to worry about some godforsaken rock on the other side of the planet. So I don't know why our leaders are so obsessed with that. I love stories like this for this exact reason. In Peru's presidential election, this almost 100% has been counted, and the right-winger is winning. And the ones that have yet to be tabulated gives her an 80% chance of winning. Extremely positive right-wing candidates all across Latin America are celebrating this, like Javier Milei. And, well, it's good enough for me, right? Here she is. Keiko Fujimori, president of Peru, asked for guerrilla fighter Gustavo Petro to keep his red nose out of Peru. I love it.
Ha derrotado el terrorismo. Y no vamos a aceptar el terrorismo exterior.
Dude, I don't speak Spanish, but she's running with Captain Hook here. It's freaking awesome. That's amazing. Dude, no matter what this guy's, if this guy's your running mate and he's literally Captain Hook,
en nuestro país,
then good for you. You got my vote. Done. You got my vote. Another victory for freedom, liberty, and prosperity in Latin America, says Bernie Moreno. All the right people are celebrating the golden age of Latin America, led by one of the OGs right here. Okay. So just remember that when they tell you that it's all lost. No, it's not. Don't fall for the psyop, ladies and gentlemen. Keep fighting. It's your boy Benny.